I am here with one of my good friends. He does a lot of great educational content. He's really funny. And as I found out, he's kind of a big nerd. And we're going to talk about all of this. Now, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Zach Teachout. I am a huge nerd, former fat kid, and currently strength and nutrition coach. Okay, so I get to be I'm the test hamster, the guinea pig.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take
The
that.
thing is that it's just going to get better from here. And then,
I mean, it's just like anything else. The more you do this, the easier it
Mhm.
gets. I started getting behind the camera in like 2017
Oh, wow.
uh, for promo and stuff before I was even doing stuff online, like locally. And at first, like it's terrifying, right? At first, you're sitting there like, and then it gets easier, and then it gets easier, and now it's like I would rather send a video message than a text message.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's. So you started at was it? Let me see if I'm good. Is it 674? Is that
Yep.
where?
Oh, you
Hey,
definitely
I got
watch
a
my
sharp.
content. Yeah.
I got a sharp number. How many years ago was that now? 2 years, you said?
No, actually, that was 2020, the very beginning, like 2019, December 2020 in March, or not March, but January. Like that's when I started becoming like off bed bound and really getting into the activity. But
Yeah,
then 2020 happened, and then I'm basically homebound, bedbound again, all of
yeah.
2020, half of 2021. So
Okay,
basically, I was back in here, and it sucked because I literally just got better, and then I had to do it all over again, but with everyone else.
yeah. So like, yeah, you got there, and then
Mhm.
that's a lot of the times that's really to me, like I'll equate it this, like when I deal with an injury and I have to go backwards to where I was, I feel like giving up. So the
Oh
fact that
yeah.
you got back up and did it, dude, that's huge. That's
Yeah,
huge.
it's really frustrating. There was days in there where I just like, what is the point of doing all this? Like, I just want to give up. And
Yeah.
but then I always tell people, make your reasoning, your why bigger than any excuse. And then I have to remind myself, why do I want to keep losing the weight? Why do I want to get better? Because I want a family. I want to start my own life. I want, my own like I want to be the man of the house. I want to give my kid, boy or girl, whatever I didn't have growing up because I didn't have a dad growing up. And I want to be the dad figure that they never, that I've never had myself.
Man, that's a really cool so I figured out something because I had a father, but he was not a great one. And he's not around anymore. And so much of it I avoided, like any of the fatherly type role and stuff. And when I came back around and things got better for me emotionally, is when I hit a point I was like, if I want to get better, I have to be dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I can't fix what happened to me, but I can go and do better than they
Yep.
did and heal myself that way. So that's cool, man. I That's huge, man. So from 2021 to where you are now, because like I said, like you said, this is the first time we've been able to talk that hasn't
Mm-hmm.
been through text. What's the mental shift for you of like where you were to where you are now?
My mental thing is my mind wants to tell me you could walk into Walmart, go shopping, do what you want, regular life like you did back in 2018, 2016, 2012. You could do this. But then when I'm walking, like once I get into the store, once I get into like frozen food section, I'm like, I have to sit down. My body's just gonna, just do like that. Those toys where you put your finger in and you let it go and then they just flop down. That's
Oh
what my
yeah,
body
yeah.
is like it's gonna do if I don't sit down right now.
Okay.
But my
Well,
mind is telling me you could do this, you could do this, but my body just doesn't want to do it.
it's that argument between the two of them. I mean, well,
Mhm.
that's really good that you still have the drive, and like the
Oh
only
yeah.
thing back at that point is just the conditioning.
Hmm.
Um, and I never, I was never bedbound, but there was a period where I didn't leave the house for a year. Um, and I do remember at my heaviest, I couldn't walk more than half a block before I just had to like rest and stop. And I know like that can be really frustrating. Like,
Oh yeah.
like to
Hmm.
when you hit those physical limitations are really tough. Like for me at this point, I don't run into things like that. It's been almost a decade since I weighed over 300 pounds. Um, and everything works so much better, but I still have joint damage. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like when you're heavy for a long time and things just don't move the way they should have, like that leads lasting damage. And I hit these points where I'll have like a flare up where my ankle is messed up or my shoulder or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just a really tough mental battle because I feel like I'm back here. You know what I mean? Of
Mm-hmm.
like where it started. But then I look back around and go, but here I am.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. I can keep moving forward. And then, like you said, the why. Why do we keep going? Why do I keep doing this? That's cool, man. I like that.
Did your feet go outward?
Oh, God, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Feet out and then ankles in.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. It's the left one mainly for that for me. And I have scoliosis as well. I'm hypermobile, so my connective tissue is weak, and then being tall on top of it, like and heavy, my spine is like all over the place.
Oh
I
wow.
constantly have to do like upkeep that most people don't, but it's worth every little bit, I think.
Yeah.
And then
So what was your daily regimen like? You said it was 10 years ago.
10 years ago,
What
yeah,
was your daily regimen like then compared to what it is now?
that's a good question. So at that point, I wasn't working. I was on disability and I would wake up whenever, usually between
Mm-hmm.
11 a.m. and 3 p.m., and have a bunch of coffee because I didn't sleep well, and some kind of breakfast, whatever, leftovers from the night before till I'm full. Eat nothing through most of the day, just coffee, play video games all day. Uh, and then binge eat for dinner, and play video games or watch TV or whatever until I fell asleep, and then just repeat, man. Like I was in the depths of depression with
That sounds very similar to me. Like I spent 10, 12, 16 hours a day playing video
yeah
games when I was bedbound. And the way I tell kids now, don't do that. You say you want to play video games all day long. After the second week, I think I'm like, I'm over this. But then I'm like, what else is there to do? This is
it's
it.
it's all
This
you
is
have.
all, yeah. So
Yeah,
let's just play. Let's keep going. Like, even though I don't like it, let's make new friends online.
and it's like the only form of socialization that you have in
Hmm.
that instance. And the problem is like it makes the depression worse. Like it's disassociation, like it's pulling you out of everything here that's bothering you, but it's still there in the morning. And I think we really downplay what an awful effect playing video games has on the body.
Yeah.
Like of just being hunched over all the time, sitting in one place. So yeah, but man, I think I've said this a bunch. Like if you're emotionally okay, if if we have a good support system, if we're loving ourselves and we're working in the right direction, we're not going to deal with things like heavy food addiction and video game addiction and all of these things where we are trying to escape. So, like, I think part of the problem is that the video games cause issues. Part of the problem is that we have all of these foods available that are highly palatable, highly processed, et cetera. But I think the real issue, man, is that we're we're like mentally unhealthy. We're
Hmm.
emotionally unhealthy, and we don't know what to do about it other than
Yeah.
find things to make it feel better, like food or video games or whatever it may be. And like still to this day, my two biggest addictions have been video games and food.
Oh yeah.
Like that's
And then when you're playing video games, you see that bag of potato chips, and like
oh
it
yeah,
feels like it's been 5 minutes, but it's been 2 hours, and that bag of chips is gone, and
oh yeah,
you remember eating two, but
yeah.
all of a sudden you ate the whole bag.
And then you're thirsty, so you got to have a Mountain Dew
Oh
or a
yeah, the
Bang
Mountain
or
Dew is the
something like that.
gamers. Mountain
Yeah,
Dew is the gamers drink.
yeah, live wire.
Mhm. Back then, back in early 2000s, mid 2000s, it was Surge for me.
Surge. Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot about it. I love Surge.
yeah.
That was the good stuff. Now I had a Rockstar energy drink habit. I spent
Oh,
about $60 a week on energy drinks.
jeez.
Oh yeah, it was a problem. So do you game at all now, or have you kind of given that up?
um, I haven't given it up. I get caught up in games even now. Like Diablo 4 just came out, and I'd catch myself playing for like 4 or 5 hours because I'm like, I want to get this quest done. I want to get this dungeon. Then pretty soon it's one dungeon to two to three to like, I still get in that like hyper fixation on, getting a certain level or getting this gear and oh my leg piece isn't good. Let's farm for this one gear piece.
Yep. And then you didn't get it, so you got to do it again. Come on, we're
Yep.
like, it's just one more, one more.
Mm-hmm.
I um I actually have not played anything but like a phone game in a couple years. Well, I have an Oculus. It's broken, but I was doing that for a little bit. The thing with the Oculus, the VR, was that I could only do it for maybe 30 minutes at a time.
Would you
Just
get
because
that
it's so
headache and
fast.
dizziness?
Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
that's about it. Um, but I recently, about 2 years ago, my gaming PC, it just needed an upgrade. It wasn't usable anymore, and I made the decision this time to not upgrade it.
Oh, you're a PC player?
Oh yeah, traditionally I'm a PC player, and I did that because while there are games that I enjoyed and would have liked to play, overall I found it was a negative. Kind of for the same reason that you have, like I can't afford to get stuck somewhere for 4 to 5 hours. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like I did so much gaming when I was younger. Like I got to catch up on some shit in life. you
Yeah.
know, which do you like better, the PlayStation or the Xbox?
It depends on what I want to play. Like I love my solo RPG games like Final Fantasy series, Dot
Yeah,
Hacks. Like I love those games. I love the RPG style games. And Xbox is not very good at those. But if you
no,
want to
it's
play like a MMORPG or if you want to play like a grouping together with your friends and shooter up games like that, go to your Xbox.
yeah, yeah, I see that for sure. Do you ever do LARPing, like
We cosplayed. We go to Comic Cons.
Comic
LARP
Con?
was pretty cool. I did that late in high school, but there's different levels of nerd, and LARPing seems like it's more above and beyond what. Yeah.
So like we always joked about that because I'm a huge nerd. I grew up playing BattleTech and Warhammer 40K and Dungeons and Dragons and
Nice.
stuff. But you hit that point to where, okay, so you've got like those games, and then you got Magic the Gathering somewhere in here, and then above that is role playing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty nerdy. And then you've got the live action role play. All
Yep.
right, so that's way up there. And then cherry on top, you've got the live action role playing with the foam swords, boffers,
Mm-hmm.
like where they hit each other with them, and that is like at the top.
Yeah.
So I've never done it either, for a couple of reasons. One, like same as you, like I was a little self conscious, but I
And
always kind of wanted to because I think that hitting people with foam swords would be really fucking cool.
mm-hmm.
I think it would be a blast. I don't know if you're a Star Wars fan or not, but there's this one lady, and she goes around
Really
and she
cool.
dresses up as, I can't remember the name of her character, but she's an imperial officer, and she says she's from HR. So she just rolls around and gives like she finds Lord Vader for like being out of uniform, and like just handing just different, she not the emperor though, the emperor she gives a certificate of excellence to, and just like other people at the Star Wars conventions, and then
That's
finds them
funny.
from HR. It's pretty funny.
I have more of it
I,
in the POC cosplayers area right now on my TikTok. Like
okay.
they're all like black, indigenous, Mexican, like cosplay. I hardly ever see anybody that's white on my For You page that's in cosplay right now.
That's funny.
There's a
Oh, that's
huge
cool though.
there's a huge community of like minority cosplayers out there.
It's grown so much, and I love being able to see all the people of color like just doing the cosplaying, because I know, listen, like it's hard enough to be a nerd, and then you have to take and deal with being a black nerd on top of it, or a brown nerd. Like
Hmm.
I know that's got to be hard.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
wore my nerdness flag since I was a little kid. Back in the late '90s, I watched Dragon Ball Z and watching anime back then. Nobody was doing it.
yeah,
Yeah,
man. And
and
there's
if
no representation there for it either. And
mhm,
like,
I love Star Wars.
oh, I love it. Very cool. Have you seen the prototype for Disney's new lightsaber prop that they came out with?
Uh-uh.
So
Yes.
oh, that's cool, man. That is awesome. I always like the double sabers and the saber staff, but they announced it. They had a video of it, and it's it uses like the same kind of technology that, like with a tape measure. It's piece of metal in a roll that's also like crimped, and so it extends and whatnot. But they've got it set up to where it, I mean, it looks just like a real lightsaber, dude.
Oh
Like it
wow.
starts with empty hilt and then same, like the same level of glow. I don't know what LEDs they're using. They're not telling people exactly how they do it, and they're only issuing it to some of the cast members in Edge of the Galaxy.
Oh
Um,
wow.
but I figure maybe like another 10 years and then you and I get to play with them like we dreamed
Hmm.
about as a kid. So I'm excited about that.
I know. I remember watching How I Met Your Mother, and they're like, we're just this close from lightsabers being a household item. And later in the episode, he's cutting ham with the lightsaber.
That's what I would do too.
Uh-huh. Do daily
Yep.
tasks like buttering my thing with a lightsaber. Like I would use it for everything.
I would be like the dad with the new knife. You know what I mean? Hey, what you
Hmm.
got something cut there? Hang on. Hang on. Let me just get this out
Yeah.
for him. Hey,
What
no,
happened to your
don't use that
fingers?
knife. We need.
What happened to your fingers? I cut it with my lightsaber. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just yeah. Playing around too much.
Yeah, I would probably be covered in burns all over based off of
Hmm.
like when I cook. Like I burn my hands all the time. I would make an awful Sith. I don't hate anyone that much. It is exhausting. I would really just be like, go fuck yourself, whatever. Excuse my language. But yeah, no, that's cool though. I like that. It's cool. So,
So
are you a big Star Wars fan?
I like Star Trek better, but yeah, I'm one of those
I
nerds where I don't care for the Star Trek Star Wars like feud. I don't care about anime or Marvel versus DC feud. I don't like. I like them all. I just love every single one of them. But
I'm the
yeah,
same way too. Yeah,
but the Star Trek I feel like is more better for like the long run than Star Wars.
I think so too. You know, and I used to prefer Star Wars. Um, honestly, I think it's when Disney took over that it just kind of lost a little bit of what it is. I'm so happy. I really am. I'm so happy to have things like The Mandalorian,
Mm-hmm.
and despite all of the issues with the new movies, I still enjoy them. But I think you're right. I think Star Trek has more staying power at this point, and I kind of like where the franchise is as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie number three of Star Trek, I was like, I like it, but it's different. Yeah, I can't wait till they're actually like in far deep space more.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. I love like Deep Space Nine, Voyager. It's all my
Hmm.
favorites. Yeah.
And the
Huge,
thing I
huge
love
Star
about
Trek.
the like remaking of new movies is that they put the old cast members into the new movies.
I actually really like the way that they're doing that rather than just recasting or redoing. They're
Hmm.
doing a good job with it. And now, and I'm probably going to piss off some nerds here, but as bad as the old Star Trek movies were from the 80s, these are good,
Oh yeah.
you know. And I know a lot of people love the old Star Trek movies, but hey, yeah, we deserve something better, so I'm happy
Hmm.
with it.
Yeah, I like the old shows better than the old movies.
Yes, the old show is better than the old
Hmm.
movies, except for Wrath of Khan. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna Wrath of Khan wins. I'll say that, but that's more because of the classic. I think the lines that are in it than anything else.
I watch your content. I never would have guessed that you're like a nerdy type person. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm a lot of things, and a lot of people really don't know what to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the fitness content. I've moved to my personal page more so, and I do fitness stuff on there. I do like mostly I do my live workouts and stuff, but just a little bit of like everything about me on that page, and that's a better like snapshot of who I am. But yeah, I I don't lead with the nerd,
Mhm.
but it's deep. It runs deep, man.
Yeah, I could tell.
I was the kid, like I had read every Star Wars novel up until Phantom Menace came out by the time I was like 12, something
Oh
like that.
wow.
Yeah, there was a point where like I had memorized every named character in Star Wars, anyone that had a name, including like people in the like the Mos Eisley Cantina scene. If they had any kind of information, I had it memorized. That's just the way my brain works. Um, grew up on Marvel, DC, just comic books. That's what I spent all of my money on.
Mm-hmm.
And then got into like gaming, like Mech Warrior, the video game, brought me to BattleTech, the board game. I spent a lot of time hanging out at local game stores. I worked at one of them. Eventually, we had a gaming club where we would host all of the tournaments in the area. One of my first businesses as an adult, I would make and sculpt and cast resin models for gaming and stuff. So
Oh wow.
that's yeah, big nerd stuff. It's just not. I don't know. I like to do a little bit of everything now, and so I spend most of my time outside. Seattle has a huge gaming culture, if I
Mm-hmm.
remember correctly, because I know Games Workshop. That was one of the few places like in the U.S. where Games Workshop had a store, and I think it's probably the same reason that Starbucks took off because it rains all the time. My is that like an honest like a good idea of how it works in Washington?
Yeah.
Growing up, going to the game store, it was a haven for me because I mean, you grew up nerd in the 90s and early 2000s. Like, there's no place for
Oh
us.
yeah. No, at
Like,
that time there was nothing. Everyone made fun of you.
everyone, like, being
Mm-hmm.
a nerd is cool now. Like, it's
Oh
mainstream.
yeah.
Then, like, we're not talking about it. And so it was a refuge for me. And my friend John ran it, and he had an open door policy. Like, really, you could come in whenever, like, to the point of if you didn't want to go home, like stuff was going on, he would let you lock yourself in the store and sleep there
Oh
overnight.
wow.
Like, yeah, really good guy. And talking to him a lot, he really helped instill in me. He's like, Zach, all I want is first chance. It's like, just give me a chance to get it. Like, I know you can get it faster on the internet. I know you can go to Walmart and get it a little bit cheaper. Let me see if I can meet it. Like, would you please spend your
Mm-hmm.
money with me? And then, like, this is how you stay open. Okay, yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm a supporter of small business. Like if I could buy it at Walmart for 7, but my friend has a business and has it for 10, I'm gonna buy it for my friend because it'll help him keep his
yeah.
business open. Even I might be saving a few dollars to go to Walmart, but they're always gonna be there. Walmart's always gonna be there.
Plus, you don't have to go to Walmart. Everybody wins.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Did you see the new Dungeons and Dragons movie?
No, I didn't. Did you?
Yes, I love it. I'm a big movie person. I see me and my wife like this is new to her, but it's been my thing since I was a kid. We
That's
see
cool.
every movie that comes out that's worth watching for our
Oh, cool.
opinion every single week.
That's cool. So, like,
Hmm.
it's the tradition and you go and do
Oh
it.
yeah.
I
Hmm.
like that. Yeah.
And for her growing up, it was a luxury. We're going to the movie just because it's your birthday or just because it's like a special occasion. For me, it's Friday. New movies came out. Let's
Yeah.
go.
That's cool. My buddy Derek does that. He gets the pass to where he just gets the flat fee and goes and sees everything. But his whole thing too is if he's bored, he'll just go and movie hop on a Saturday, you
Oh,
know,
nice. I
which
don't know
which I
where
think
that
is
is. That's something we need here. We'd save so much money.
yeah, it was Regal, I think, that he was doing it
Oh,
with. I don't know if they do it anymore though. I know that was pre-pandemic, but I grew up I mean, there wasn't anything to do. We had the movie theater and that's about it. So like we talked, it's either the gaming store, the movies, or Walmart. Uh,
yeah.
that's how
Yep.
we entertained ourselves. So yeah, I spent a lot of time at the movies, but they're so damn expensive now. It's not quite what it used to be.
Hmm.
But then again, if you load your pockets up with food instead of paying at the concession stand, it's a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. We just went to the drive-in. We have a drive-in movie theater where I live.
Oh, that's cool.
Actually, we have two. Like there, I want to Google and see how many drive-in movie theaters there are across the world, like across the United States.
Not many.
And like we
Yeah,
have two, like literally driving distance away from where I live. One shows three different movies at the same exact time. Like it's a huge campground area. Like they have
that's
one
cool.
movie here, one movie here, one movie here. But as soon as all three of them are over, they rotate them,
Oh, that's cool.
and then you could sit there and watch three movies in the same exact spot.
That's really cool.
Hmm.
I have never even seen a drive-through movie theater. It's not something we had in Florida because it rains all the time. It would never work. Um, but that's always something I've wanted to do. That's cool.
Yeah, that's why they're only open here on summers because it
Yeah.
does. Outside of summer, it rains.
But it's dry during the summer.
It's drier. I wouldn't say it's
Drier.
dry, but yeah.
That's Florida's opposite. It's every day at 10 a.m. in the summer it rains, and then again at 4 p.m. every damn day, and then nothing
Jeez.
during the winter. Where I grew up in Florida, it's super flat, but I grew up, near the coast anyway, the mangroves and stuff. And I mean, the houses are 11 feet above sea level, but that's because they're built on, um, the septic mound. So really, like the lot is about 5 feet above sea level.
Oh, wow.
So, and then of course, where I grew up too, there weren't really storm drains or anything like that. So we had ditches. And like I said, it just rains all the time. So, like you said, 10, 15 inches. That's, yeah, I've plenty of those. And so what would happen is the ditches would flood and then the roads would
Mm-hmm.
flood. And then, especially when we lived on a dirt road, all of the fire ditches, because we had them dug in the woods, those would flood. And then that would feed into the dirt road. And then all of a sudden, the dirt road we lived on was a river that was about a foot and a half deep.
Oh, wow.
And it would be like a Wednesday afternoon, and I have catfish in my goddamn driveway just flopping around because they were it's very strange. It would flood during the summer. Sometimes that water would stay for a week and a half at a time. And so, I'd be riding my bike down the road, and then in the ditch, I see the wake of a big fish, like a big in the ditch, like a big fish that I would normally go out
Mm-hmm.
to the sound and catch because it had swam up from the bay into it was just really weird, man, and surreal. But yeah, we never had to deal with any like flash flooding or anything like that. Is that something you have to deal with there?
No, we get just flooding all the time.
Just yeah, steady.
Yeah. But one of the memes, I'm pretty sure I could find it really quick. I don't know if you ever seen it. I'm walking my fish meme.
No,
The
I
guy
haven't seen the one.
has a leash around a salmon walking down the street. That picture was literally taken like 10 miles down the road where I live,
Oh, that's
and
hilarious.
it floods like all the time to where people have like you can see the fish swimming up on the
Yes.
street like down the yellow like dotted line.
So
Like the fish would
yeah,
be
like
just swimming, just nonchalant, yeah. And a
yep,
guy put a leash around it and just walking with the fish. And someone took a picture, and people just made a worldwide meme of I'm
that is
walking.
hilarious.
Oh,
Oh yeah, you gotta see it. Oh, now
yep, he has a fish on a walk like on a leash.
I see that. He really just put a
Mhm.
leash on it. That's hilarious. Is this where you grew up? Did you grow up in Washington?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be anywhere else. Like right now, we would be like anywhere else. But if I had to choose, I'd live right where I'm at.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
trees everywhere. I got the river just like a mile away from me. If we go
Yeah,
down like 15 miles the other way, there's the one of the top three lakes every single year is just right there.
that's
And we
cool.
have the capital going up north 15, 20 miles. We have casinos like every 10 miles. Like we're
That's
literally in the middle of anything that you really need.
I've never been to Washington. I've never been to the Pacific Northwest in general. I really want to visit.
Does
Um,
Bigfoot scare you?
no,
No. Okay. Then a lot of people don't want to come to this area because of Bigfoot.
I I I was a very frightened child growing up from all the bullying and stuff. Um, and at some point, like I just lost all the fear. I just got tired of being afraid. And then I started like purposefully chasing the things that made me scared. And now I don't really have much of a sense of fear. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but I get to do fun stuff.
Nice. What was he bullied about when you were little?
Being different mainly.
Was you a small kid?
No, I was just different. I'm neurodivergent. I have ADHD and I'm on the autism spectrum. And we didn't know this, but there's the the meme at this point that every bully I ever had did. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because they could just tell how different I was. So that was a big part of it. I got called gay a lot. I didn't know that I was queer, but I was apparently, and so that was a big part of it. And yeah, so that's just kind of the way it went. And I got to tell you, I don't know if you've noticed this with content, is I got a big mouth. So like I've never been afraid to say what I'm thinking. And I said what I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking to the wrong people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I hadn't quite grown into my mouth yet. And so I wasn't a small kid. All of these kids were about 5 to 6 years older than me.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Eventually I grew into my mouth.
When you start working out and like getting the muscles you have now?
At I started getting fit around 29, so almost a
29. How
decade.
old are you now?
38.
38. Oh, we're the same age.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're both 85 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
What month's your birthday?
March.
Okay, I'm May, so we're close there too.
Hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah, I was born around the same time as Mario.
Oh, that's
He's
cool.
85. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. No, I do remember I remember my grandmother bringing me a Super Mario and a Nintendo at I was 2 or 3 and just telling me about it. I can remember really far back, but she was telling me about the Duck Hunt game. That's what she was excited about.
Hmm.
Um, but I loved Mario just all the time.
Yeah.
So much time on the Nintendo.
Watching a video of the character who killed the most players in game history is that first little character on Mario because people didn't know how to play anything, didn't know how to jump, and it'll go and touch them and down, 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 and he died.
Immediately, yeah. Over and over
That
again.
one character killed probably more people than the second person, second place of the most kills
I could see that. That's
because people didn't know how to play. So they like, how
yep.
do you even jump? How do you get
You
away
can do
from
it
it? Yeah.
over and over again.
Hmm.
Well, and if I remember right too, like the game just starts. There's no like push button. You
Hmm.
just go and it just comes
There's no
right at you.
tutorial. There's no
Nope.
way to tell you. You could double jump. You could roll jump. You could sprint over these.
I try and tell people about that. Like, well, retro gaming's kind of coming back. So like
Hmm.
we've moved into some harder games, but man, like the stuff I played on Nintendo, the stuff I played on Nintendo and like even PlayStation, harder than anything
Oh
that I've
yeah.
played as an adult. Like there's nothing that compares. Even Dark Souls isn't that hard.
Hmm.
You want hard, play Ninja Gaiden on the PS2.
Oh, I
Like
loved
really,
it. Yeah. Hmm.
you know,
Play that Ninja
that's
Turtle
just hard.
game. That one was just terrible.
Oh yeah, man. That was
Hmm.
really tough. That was really tough.
Even the
But fun.
Lion King game, like that. Yeah, those games are just terrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Lion King game was really hard. The Aladdin game was really
Hmm.
hard
Aladdin. Yep.
and really good.
Hmm.
Um, what was it? There was Little Nemo, I think, on so you
Hmm.
remember I
Yep.
think it was on Nintendo or Super Nintendo. That game was really tough.
Hmm.
I love it. That's
What
too
did you
fun.
ever enter like video game tournaments?
Tournaments, no, I never did like console tournaments or anything. Like I said, I was mainly a PC gamer. But the PC game stuff, I led guilds and uh, we did raids and all of that stuff. Played Star Wars: The Old Republic. Had a competitive PvP guild on there. We did a lot of ranked stuff
You're a
there. So,
PvP person.
oh yeah, yeah. I
I
like.
hate PvP in any game. Too many people get too salty and you're cheating. How did you do this? You're like, so I just never played PvP ever, even now.
Yeah, and that's I. I'm not. I'm a little bit of a troll. Like a little. Like there's a part of me that enjoys doing that, but I
Mm,
really like. I like getting under people's skins who are jerks. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I'll pick out the guy who's being a jerk and I'm like, okay, well let's bother him for a little while. And so that's what I really enjoy about PvP. And I do enjoy like the competitive portion of it. Um, but never like the stuff where you're just out in the world and just hurting people to hurt them. That's no fun. I like the competition portion.
Yeah, when I played Elder Scrolls Online for all of 2020, when I was bedbound in 2019, like that's all I did was played Elder Scrolls Online. And I told people I don't want to be a guild leader. I just want to be that guy in the corner of the bar who knows literally everything. And I'm that guy who you ask everything about, but I don't want to lead anything. I don't want to
That's
lead
fair.
your I don't want to lead your trial. I don't want to lead your dungeon, but I'll go with you. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to tell me what to do. Like I know exactly what to do. I know all the mechanics. I know all like everything. You ask me what your character could do. Ask me what your skills are. How can we make it better as a team? Like I know all this. I just don't want to lead a guild. I don't want to lead a dungeon or a trial. Like yeah.
And that's fair. I always found myself like I never wanted to at first, and then it was just like really easy for me after a while of like, all right, listen, these are things that I want to do and I can't do them by myself. You want to do it? You want to do
Hmm.
it? You want to do it? All right, cool. Let's go. And then
That's
the
why I
way that
always
I go ahead.
that's why I always chose support classes because I hated trying to find a random person or someone who's just terrible at support classes. So I
Oh,
mastered how to be a support character.
I usually played like the tank class.
Hmm.
Or like and you control the battle at that point and like, all right, you guys don't know how to place yourselves. Let me move the mob for you.
Hmm.
let me like I'll take care of it. So yeah, the big thing that I found about leading the guild, man, is uh, it's just appointing the right people. Sitting there like you don't want to lead anything, but I'd be looking at you and like, all right, you don't have to lead anything, but what if I made you in charge of like knowledge? You're the knowledge officer,
Hmm.
like and I know what you're good at, and like you know what you're good at. We put you in that role, and you're good. One of my favorite players on my my raid team, if he's watching this, Justin, um, everybody would like he got a lot of like, oh, he's not that good. Oh, like, why do you have him on there? Because he can't do this and he can't do that. And like he would even say stuff and it's like, do you know why you're on here every single time? And he's like, what? Like, because I know exactly what I get out of you. You're
Hmm.
dependable. If I ask you to go and do this one thing, you're gonna do it the
Oh
best.
yeah.
And you're like, that's what we want, man. Consistency and like building a good team is just all about that. Like finding the right people and putting them in places to do what they're good at.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's
it
cool.
reminds me of that. Have you ever seen Ender's Game, the movie?
Yes.
So what they're talking about, he made the best team. Even this guy who has no set of skills, he's making him something. If you get the
Yeah.
right team, anybody could be something.
Oh, absolutely. Just like, what are you good at? Like
Hmm.
you may not know what you're good at, but if I watch it and I can figure out what you're good at, then we can both like you get to discover how good you are at it. And
Hmm.
I get to benefit from your skill set and we grow as a team. Like that's what's there's a movie about Moneyball where
Money.
they
Oh,
have
I
you
love Moneyball.
Moneyball's like the same thing, right? Like he's not good at this, he's not good at that, but he's like a mediocre shortstop. Yeah, but he steals second base
Hmm.
75% of the time on his
Yeah,
attempts, and that's who we want. Like that's I like that.
I like
I like
that.
that.
What's he do good at? He gets on base. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that
that he
movie.
gets on base, like get
Hmm.
him on there, and
I
then
don't
that's
care
what we
how he gets
need.
on base. He gets on base. He gets walked more times than anybody except for Barry Bonds. I love baseball
There we
too.
go.
Yeah.
There we go. You love baseball? That's cool.
Oh yeah.
I don't watch it as much as um, I don't love baseball, but out of like sports that I enjoy watching, it's top up there. And I'm weird. I like baseball on TV, not in person.
Hmm.
Um, I want to watch what's going on over the plate. Like I want the pitcher's view. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I really enjoy. I like where TikTok has gone. I like the push for longer form content stuff. Uh, I don't know. It seems like it's going to stick around. Do you think they're going to ban it? Because I know
No.
you don't think so at this point. I think
No.
that's kind of dead. Yeah. And I think even if they do, we'll have a similar platform come back up. I just don't see them getting rid of it altogether. Although I thought they were for a minute.
Yeah. For a while there, I was following or TikTok like court cases and like everyone's talking about it, but then like they're saying the same things every single day. Like it's you're being repetitive on everything you guys are saying.
Yeah, it's the same thing over and over.
Hmm.
Now for me the big thing on that is like we need to contact congressmen and let them know what we think, whether they do anything about it or not.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, once it hits a Congress hearing, like it's kind of out of our hands to a certain degree.
Yeah. Hmm.
You know, uh, funny. That's the ADHD brain is connecting here. You were telling me the 5 questions that you ask everybody at the gym, and I remember you put out a video last year around this time talking about the 5 questions, and you were like, it was practicing, so you asked people to duet it,
Hmm.
and I duetted it, and the thing I think the piece of advice I gave to a million people was, you'll never be ready for anything, just do it. And that was one of the best advice given to me. And sometimes you really just got to get out of your own head and get out of your own way and just do it. And realize that if you fail at something the first time you do it, good, because you learn. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
the only way you learn is by screwing it up and doing better.
Hmm. So one of the things I've been actually researching, like I love to do research on YouTube and like different articles and everything, was learning how to interact with people better, keeping conversations going, and
Yeah.
instead of asking, do you like Pepsi or Coke? Don't
Yeah.
ask that, because it's only one option or the other. Ask them, what's your favorite thing about Pepsi? What is the flavoring? What is, ask them more open ended things than
Yeah.
just, this or that, yes or no.
Yeah. So dial it in to something specific, but leave it open ended, and then let the person talk for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like leading questions, and then just learning to get like let go of the script sometimes and go, no, that's actually really interesting. Can you tell me more about that? You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's so if you watch like what you mentioned to me, if you watch like really good facilitators, um, I'm not a fan of his politics or personality at this point in life, but Joe Rogan is a
Oh,
master interviewer. Like
actually, I watch his stuff just for how he interacts with it. Like I was gonna bring that up, but I didn't know how you felt about the people. But
Joe
you know,
Rogan,
the
yeah,
Joe Rogan, I actually
he's
watch his stuff to see how he interacts because he
yeah,
doesn't he listens and then whatever's happening, he says, just like you said, oh, tell me more about that. How
yeah,
did that make you feel? And like he's very interactive with the person and he's in the conversation. He's not thinking about the next episode. He's not thinking about the previous episode. He's right here. He's with
he's
you.
and he's really good at it. Like he's
Hmm.
really good at it.
Like 1,000 some episodes in, you have to be good at.
Oh yeah. Now, and like I said, I'm not a fan of his politics or his personality lately, but he still puts out good content. Like
Hmm.
his all of his interviews are really entertaining to watch. And the cool thing is he's really good at too is he'll bring on people like he doesn't agree with at all.
Hmm.
Like people he doesn't like and sit there and go, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But he'll take. I think just being a facilitator and being able to take in different viewpoints and get anyone comfortable enough to talk and stay interesting is that's a skill set. And
Hmm.
yeah, you're going to do well with that, man. I'm excited
Yeah,
for you.
that's what I want to do. I want to get to know people that I've never interacted with myself. Like my
Yeah,
big thing, I'm asking on all my socials, especially Twitter and Facebook. Like I want to have a conversation with a Muslim. I've never interacted with a Muslim. I just know what people put out on the news or
yeah,
on articles or what people talk about in person, which is the majority of it is negative,
yeah.
and I want to make up my own thing about them. Like, yeah, I know nothing about Muslims.
And so I think that's really cool. I think we need more of that because we don't get it. I think that's like a huge breakdown in communication with everyone. Um, that previously people from the South and the North thought each other were, you know, unhinged, hateful
Hmm.
people when it's really just propaganda. It's really just because he said, she said, and whatnot. And so that's cool. Yeah, if you can connect with someone as a human being, that's a game changer because we all have
Hmm.
more in common than we have different. Yeah, man, I think I love that idea. I love bridging those kind of those gaps in knowledge, and this is a great format to do it. So if you can sit there and connect with someone and like what makes you tick, what was your life like, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
and other people get to like view in and kind of get to know that person as well. I think it's really cool to be able to connect with people. We live in a really interesting age. Like you're in Washington and I'm in Georgia. We're able to have a conversation,
Hmm. The way I
instantaneously.
describe it to people is, yes, social media and like electronics are separating us as human beings, but it's also at the same time making us come together. Because without technology, would we ever meet or would we ever talk without electronics?
Yeah.
It's how
No.
on all how you use the electronics. Like I could sit here and play my phone app for 10, 12, 15 hours, be the
Right.
top player on whatever game, and yeah, that's going to consume my life. But if I use it to, make podcasts or use it just to like collaborate with people, there's different ways that I could use said devices.
When I started using my phone like my computer or going to the library when I did was a kid, that's when the world changed. Like really, I was sitting there going, okay, this doesn't have to just be an escape. This can be a tool to navigate the world. And then, like you said, learning how to use it in a social aspect
Mm-hmm.
is a game changer.
Yeah.
Um, and just like applying what I know from like in-person networking to online and vice versa, like you and I have the ability to tap into a global community that
Mm-hmm.
most people don't realize they have access to.
What made you start making content?
um, Started making content. Well, it's a good question. I've always had a social media presence since I started my first business as an adult. It was back in like 2010 or something like that. And I kept that around. And then when I started training, I understood that, in order to build this business up, I would need a social media presence. So I had one up there and I would post a little bit here and there. I watched guys on YouTube like Elliot Hulse and Kai Green and some guys on Instagram like Bradley Martin and Callum Von Moger. And then I started watching guys like Squat University and some of the more like clinical sides of stuff. And I felt like I had some knowledge to offer, so I started to do that here and there, with the idea of promoting like my in-person business. And I was really just going about it backwards because I'm posting to the entire world with the hope that I catch some people locally. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that never worked great. It was okay. And then I was talking to a friend from San Diego in December 2021, I guess. Yeah. Um, and he said that I need to get on TikTok. Like he just convinced me. He's like, I see you on Instagram. Sometimes your stuff's good. Your Facebook stuff's good. Just get on TikTok. It's like, get on TikTok. And by the end of the year, you're going to be golden. And I was like, no, he's like, just do it. And so I did. And it worked. And I just started making content and having fun with it and being silly because TikTok reminded me of like YouTube back in 2005 of just
Mm-hmm.
like silly shorts and vines and stuff too. And I liked it so much, I started online coaching with it, launched my app, and just kind of kept from there. So, I mean, I knew eventually it's what I wanted to do. I just kind of came about it in a weird way.
Yeah. You learn from every single thing that you did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always keep kind of like you do with your like setting that goal of like this is what I want to hit. I want to surpass this person. Like I have rough goals. Like this is what I want to do next.
Mm-hmm.
Year before last, I wanted to open a gym, and I did. And this year, I wanted to make online coaching really sustainable and my primary thing, and I did. And next year, I want to start making enough money to live off of passive income and things like that. So I'm always
Nice.
kind of going from there.
But we covered a lot and we've been talking for 2 hours.
I think so, man.
But
Daylight here.
that's kind of what I wanted. It's we just been having a good conversation back and forth, and
I
it's
love it.
really nice.
Yeah, man. I really enjoy the conversation. I'm excited to see what you do with it, and if you ever want to talk again, just let me know.
Nice. And where can they find your content?
You can find me on TikTok or Instagram. On Teach239 is my fitness account, and Z Texicus is my personal account. So that's ZTEXICUS.
What is your favorite platform? Like, which, if you got to pick one platform, which one would you tell them to go?
Oh, definitely TikTok. I have the most fun on there.
Yeah, I like TikTok. TikTok, it's very fast paced.
It's fast paced, and I get to be like my natural weird self and find other weirdos too. So I'm a fan of that.
Mm-hmm. Finding people like yourself is always the best. That's why you're here. Yeah. So I have a thing on every single episode that I want to do is the previous guest is going to ask the current guest a certain question. But
Okay.
since you're my first guest, I came up with a question. If you had a time capsule from when you was a little kid, say 5 to 8 years old, of all your toys or all your memorabilia, what kind of items would be in your time capsule?
From 5 to 8.
Yeah.
Um, Spider-Man comics, X-Men figures, shark's teeth, fossils, shells, rocks, and dinosaurs.
And what's your question you would like to ask the next guest?
If you could choose a superpower, what would it be?
Nice. That's a really good one. I really like that question.